St. Peter Claver, the church, has a special place in the hearts of the Bedford Stuyvesant community. The church's namesake, Peter Claver, is a saint who ministered tirelessly to slaves in the 1600s. After Monsignor Bernard Quinn founded the church, he worked tirelessly to fight racism in the 1920s. And today, the parishioners here say that Monsignor Quinn should be declared a saint, too.
I have much, as does my family, to be grateful to Monsignor Quinn.
Violet Chandler was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer about 5 years ago. She didn't want to simply receive chemotherapy. She began imploring the founder of her parish for help. The Vatican had declared Monsignor Quinn a servant of God the year before, which meant that the parish could start looking for a miracle to prove his holiness. And when the doctors performed surgery to see if Violet's cancer was in remission, they might have found that miracle.
When they looked to see how well, if at all, the cancer was progressing, not only was the cancer gone, there was a cavity where the cancer was. So that's something that they're still scratching their heads about. And I go, I know why.
The Diocese of Brooklyn is still examining the facts and will send a report to the Vatican. But if Rome declares Violet's recovery a miracle, Monsignor Quinn would be beatified, the step before sainthood. No member of the Brooklyn Queens Diocese has ever been canonized a saint. The leader of the diocese, Bishop Nicholas DiMarzio, has himself sought the help of Monsignor Quinn. At about the same time that Violet was praying for intercession, he had quadruple bypass heart surgery.
After my heart operation, I had to return to the hospital in an emergency situation. And in that emergency room, I had the sense that his presence, his promise, in a certain sense, take care of me. So I don't know if it was a miracle, it was a medication, but I did feel his presence.
Bishop DiMarzio fully recovered from the surgery and committed himself to see Monsignor Quinn's sainthood cause through. At a time when segregation was the norm, Monsignor Quinn championed racial equality. His church, St. Peter Claver, was the first in the diocese founded for Black Catholics. The current pastor of St. Peter Claver, Monsignor Paul Jarvis, has spent more than a decade researching Monsignor Quinn's life.
He truly believed in the brotherhood, of humanity. And he was so greatly distressed about the racism, which he'd seen against the blacks. And he encouraged the black people to not allow the racism of whites, to keep them down.
Over a 5-year period, Monsignor Quinn's weekly novena to St. Therese of Lisieux was attended by more than 2 million. He also founded the first orphanage for black children on Long Island. It was burned down, twice, by the Ku Klux Klan. Despite multiple threats to his life, Monsignor Quinn continued, saying, "I love you, I am proud of every one of you, and I would gladly shed to the last drop of my life's blood for the least among you."
He dedicated his life to make a difference.
Monsignor Quinn is already a saint. We just need him to be recognized.
Monsignor Quinn was born on the very day that St. Peter Claver was canonized. Monsignor Jarvis thinks this is a sign of what is to come, a continuity of sainthood. Violet Chandler hopes to see the day when her intercessor is canonized and says she will continue advocating for him until he is.
Well, I guess I have something to do on this planet because otherwise I wouldn't be around. And if talking about him and promoting his faith is a part, and his life and his cause is a reason for me to be around, that would explain it.
Here in the rectory of St. Peter Claver, this is the office where Monsignor Quinn served. One day, this may be a place where pilgrims come to honor him. Reporting for Currents from Bed-Stuy, I'm Katie Breidenbach.